What's up, guys? Welcome back into the Ballroom Podcast. This is episode 3. I'm your host, Rohan and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arav. Arav, what's going on?
I'm good, Rohan. We had some super exciting game twos here in the NBA playoffs. Really looking forward to recapping them and going over them with you, in depth with you. Let's get straight into it.
Yeah, let's take a look at probably the most exciting game in the last
Yeah,
couple
for
of
sure.
days. Nets Celtics. Celtics took this game 114-107 in a thriller. They came back from 17 in the first half and outscored the Nets 59-42 in the second half. Outscored them 29-17 in the fourth quarter. And now they take a commanding 2-0 lead in the
Yeah,
series. What
that's
do you think
that's
about it?
huge. That's huge,
Yeah.
especially in this series against the Nets. That's huge for Celtics to take a 2-0 lead. I think we in episode 1 we both predicted the Nets to win. Um,
Yeah.
it's looking real good for Boston right now.
Yeah.
2-0, 2-0 lead against the Nets is huge. I don't think anyone expected that.
Yeah. Definitely. But I mean, if you're looking at it from the Nets perspective, uh, they just lost their away games. The Celtics just held on to home court, so things are kind of
Yeah.
falling into how they statistically should go.
hmm
So the Nets aren't out of the series at all.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah,
they still have a chance. They're back at home, back in Brooklyn. Fans there are going to be super energetic. They need those games.
yeah. But you can't say enough how well the Celtics played in the second half,
Definitely.
especially in that fourth quarter. Just amazing defense, team defense, and individual defense. They absolutely clamped KD and Kyrie. They were throwing double teams at KD. He could barely hold the ball. They were forcing turnovers left and right. And KD was just swarmed. He really couldn't. He could barely get shots up. He
hmm
finished the game with 6 turnovers. And he had 5 fouls as well, and 4 for 17 from the field, 23%, 0 for 10 in the second half. Like he just had an all around awful game to his standards. And that's in large part due to the Celtics just making him uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure. And Kyrie as well. The Celtics forced him to break his fast. No more Robin Kyrie. He had a banana on the bench. And then he had 10 points. He went 4 for 13, only shot 31%. And as we saw at the end of the like towards the end of the game, he missed a few shots. Then we could see his body language was kind of he just looked defeated. The
Yeah.
Celtics were just throwing everything at him and it worked. It worked in the Celtics' favor. He also definitely need to touch the ball more in the stretch. He just like only took a couple shots,
Yeah.
didn't get the ball enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously at the end, Katie just was pretty like confused and he couldn't really get anything going. He was just getting swarmed. And I think he being off his rhythm, like he wasn't making the right decisions. Obviously didn't get Kyrie the ball enough, but obviously was getting forced into turnovers and stuff like that. But even with good looks at the end of the game, he just couldn't knock him down, and he was
He
off his
couldn't hit.
rhythm.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, just a second straight poor game from KD.
yeah.
He's now combined 13 of 41, shooting 30% on the series. KD and Kyrie combined for 8 of 31 in this game, 1 for
Wow.
17 in the second half. It's the first time ever that they both shot below 33% in a game. Um,
hmm
so I think moral of the story for the Nets is KD and Kyrie just need to play better.
They need to play
Um,
better. Yeah, otherwise
they just need to play
they
better.
have no chance. They have no
Yeah,
scoring other than that. So
yeah,
like no big scoring outside of KD and Kyrie. So they need them to be at the top of their games if they
yeah,
want to go deep in the playoffs. If they want to first of all beat Boston, right?
yeah,
Um, yeah,
definitely.
let's talk about Horford and Tice. Um,
Yeah,
31 points combined, 12 rebounds. They were balling.
yeah. Grant Williams, 17 points.
Yeah,
He had
he
a
had a game.
100 game. Shot perfect from the field, perfect from three, and perfect from the free throw line.
What a game.
Um, it's a great game. Just all around team effort for them. They had a great distribution of scoring. Jaylen Brown led them down the stretch in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter
his
with
his
10
fourth quarter
points.
was class
Really
fourth
boosted
quarter.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tatum with shot making too as well. It was just a total team effort. So I think for
Devin,
Celtics,
yeah,
this is basically like a perfect performance. This is how they want to play. That's
Yeah.
why they're number one defense in the regular season. So I think their game plan is being executed perfectly.
Yeah, 7 guys in double figures just shows how good of a team like all around team the Celtics are. They had a really good team effort. And for the Nets, Ben Simmons could be set to return for Game 4. That's interesting. I saw that he's not ruled out for Game 3, so there's a low chance that he could play in that game. Game 4, he could play. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously the Nets could use any help they can get right now down 2-0. Just having that spark plug and Ben Simmons to push the pace on the floor, take some of the ball handling responsibilities off KD and Kyrie so that they can just make shots and go to work on offense. But it's still like we don't know like what he looks like. He hasn't played basketball in like 10 or 11 months. So
Yeah,
no,
and
we have no idea what his conditioning is and stuff like that.
it's hard for a player to play their first career game on a team in the playoffs
Yeah,
and down in the series as well.
exactly.
So it's gonna be definitely interesting.
Yeah,
Also tough. It's gonna be a challenge, but
yeah.
if they can do it, then that'll be good. That'll be good for Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's a huge wild card, but I think like in general, like you just gotta play as if or prepare as if you just have what you have right now. Just
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
gotta just look back at the game film. Obviously just gotta KD and Kyrie, we know they're gonna bounce back. So they definitely are gonna give themselves a good shot. They're going back home. They just need a game where everyone's clicking. KD and Kyrie are both making shots, and I think slowly they'll get their confidence back. But it's tough
But
playing in
that
Boston.
needs to happen quickly, not slowly.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
down 2-0.
obviously.
It needs to happen quickly.
Yeah,
It needs to happen in
exactly.
game 3. If they lose game 3, then they might be done. Like they have to win game 3.
Yeah. Obviously their backs are against the wall right now, so they really got to show out. But I mean, if there's anything we know about Katie and Kyrie, they're
Yeah.
both elite in the
Super
playoffs.
experienced. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
I can't count them out. But
exactly.
going back into
Exactly.
Brooklyn, this all eyes are going to be on the series. Brooklyn's really got to step up and take Game 3 with a commanding victory.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Shall we move on to the next
Yes,
game, the next series?
let's do it.
Let's look at the 6-3 matchup in the East. The Bulls in the Bucks. The Bulls won this game to tie the series up. They won 114 to 110. Let's talk about DeMar DeRozan, who had a
Mhm.
playoff career high 41 points.
Debo,
So yeah, what a game.
what a
One of
game.
our favorite players. Both of our favorite players.
Yeah,
DeMar DeRozan. The big 3 for Chicago really performed, unlike in game 1. DeRozan 41, Vucevic 24 points, 13 rebounds, which was huge for the Bulls as he was able to get boards in the paint over Giannis and Brook Lopez. And then Levine 20 points, 75% from 3 for 4 from 3. So the big 3 just had a really solid game today. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, when they're all clicking, right? They're basically their whole
they're hard to
offense.
beat. Yeah.
They're
They-
hard to beat.
They're hard to
But
beat
yeah,
when they're all clicking.
Bulls. I mean, in order for them to win a game, like they need all three of them to be at their A game offensively.
Exactly.
So I think having obviously DeRozan stepped it up. He was 6 of 25, I think, last game.
Hmm.
Completely turned it up this game. I think
Yeah.
Levine was efficient. He picked his shots well. He was efficient 7 of 13. Vooch was huge for them. He was making big shots for them down the stretch.
And then
24 and 13
yeah.
is a grown man stat line. But yeah.
And then Caruso also had a really huge game, really important for the Bulls.
Oh yeah.
10 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
Locked
Which
up
was huge.
Giannis too.
He
He was
locked
playing
up
amazing
Giannis.
defense on Giannis.
Yeah. And his 10 assists was huge for Chicago as well.
Yeah.
As the Bulls shot 48% from 3 and nearly 50% from the field. So if they can play like this, if they can keep it up, it's definitely going to be tough for them to keep this level of play up. But if the big 3 and the rest of the team, like Patrick Williams, who had a really good game too, 10 points, 9 rebounds, which is a solid game. If they can, and Caruso
Yeah.
obviously 10 assists, if they can keep that up, with going back home to Chicago with the series tied 1-1, it's going to be tough for Milwaukee because you got the Chicago crowd backing them now. That crowd is pretty crazy.
Yeah. I think something to look at with Caruso too, right? His 10 assists, like he's taking over a lot of the point guard duties, which you would have
Mhm.
had if you had Lonzo Ball.
Yeah,
His absence is obviously huge for them in the playoffs
yeah,
because
definitely.
he's a great, he pushes the pace, he gets others involved, he plays great defense. And Caruso taking that sort of 3-and-D mentality and also the point guard responsibilities. Like if he can do that for this team and allow DeRozan and Levine to just get buckets. Same with Vucevic, set up Vooch on the post. Like that opens up their entire offense. That gives them the point guard that they would have had if Lonzo was healthy. So I mean, it's looking like what they could have been, given that Lonzo didn't get injured. But having Caruso step up like this, like if he can continue to provide you this type of performance, then they're going to be looking good going forward.
No, yeah, this definitely boosts their confidence. Winning this game, especially without Lonzo Ball, boosts their confidence to play without Lonzo Ball. To play play a really good, almost nearly perfect game, um, with what they have right now, right?
Yeah. I think with the Bucks, main thing obviously Middleton is the most concerning
Yeah,
thing. He
prayers
sprained
up
his
for Middleton.
MCL, MRI for Thursday. So hopefully he's not out too
Hopefully he's
long.
good.
Usually MCL sprains are, I believe, within a couple days to a couple weeks. The severity of it will obviously matter. So we have no idea if Middleton will be able to get back next game or even in the series in general. So that's a huge loss for the Bucks. But I mean, obviously Giannis is a two-time MVP. And you obviously have Drew Holiday who can make buckets. So it's just the others just got to step up if Middleton's absent. They got to help bring that scoring that he would provide.
Yeah, and a big thing for Milwaukee in this game is that they shot like 65% from the line. Um, they lost by 4 points, so if they could have made their free throws, that would have been huge, and they could have had a good shot, better shot to win this game.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
um,
I think they just played below their standards throughout the majority of the game. They weren't hitting their shots down the stretch. They shot 39% from three, which is about league average. But in order to win the games down the stretch, you got to hit your threes.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but I think obviously it's not the end of the world, right? It's one all series. Bulls are a good team, so it's not going to be a walkover. Um,
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they only lost by four, playing like not to their standard, is
exactly,
says a lot about the Bucks. Like
exactly.
at the top of their game, they're
And
scary.
we know from last year, like they're a proven playoff team. They can make adjustments, like we saw in the Nets series when they were down 2-0. So not too alarming, but at the same time, they got to start playing with a sense of urgency because you don't want to go down 2-1, especially when you're on the road.
Yeah, and hopefully Middleton is good because it might be even tougher without him. But I trust Giannis.
Exactly.
Like you
Yeah.
said, he's a two-time MVP. He could hold it
Yeah.
down for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. Big game three coming up for them.
Hmm.
So we'll be looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
All right. Let's look at the next series.
yeah,
I think this was also probably up there with the
surprising.
best games of the last couple of days.
Yeah,
Suns Pelicans. I mean, Pelicans played unbelievable. They won 125, 114.
this
It's a
game this
huge
game
win
got
for
me
them.
hyped. This game
So
got me
hyped.
hyped.
The Pelicans were just so much fun to watch in this one.
Definitely.
They tied the series 1-1. Huge road win for them. This is a team that wasn't even, they were 10 games below 500. Nobody even penciled them in to be in the playoffs, and now they just grabbed the game off of the number one overall seed, which is unreal. First postseason win for them since 2018. But I mean, the main takeaways for them is just Bi and CJ.
Brandon Ingram,
They
cold.
Brandon,
They just made everything down the stretch.
they both put on a clinic. They both finished with near triple doubles. I mean, it was a masterclass from both of them. Bi ended with 37, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. CJ with 23, 9 assists and 8 rebounds. I mean, but the shot making by both of them.
It was
I mean,
crazy,
they were
dude.
just making threes in transition.
I was like driving home, and I was listening to the Pelicans radio announcers in the car, and they were just going crazy after every shot, and then it just got me so hyped.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
watching it was
amazing.
crazy. It was just like Bi was taking fadeaway jumpers in the corner. CJ pulled up, I think, back to back or close to back to back possessions, just made insane threes in transition. But I think the main takeaway I think from Bi's game is the way he was able to shot make, but also shot create for his teammates. I mean, he made some ridiculously tough jumpers, but I mean, he had some amazing outlet passes, and he found his teammates perfectly on cuts. And so the way he was able to be a double threat in that sense was huge for the Pelicans, and it allowed his teammates to get involved. Same with CJ, he was making timely passes, getting teammates involved. So I mean, it was a great team win for them for sure.
Yeah, definitely. For the Suns, obviously the main concern is Devin Booker. He dropped what 31 in the first half.
Yeah,
And he was looking really good until his hamstring injury. He's had hamstring issues in the past, so he's supposed to be out in games 3 and 4.
yeah,
So it's tough to see him go down like that. Yeah, it's very concerning. But Phoenix, their championship team, um, they're championship team for a reason. They can do it without players. They have
yeah,
Chris Paul, CP3, whose experience can get them through the Pelicans.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Suns will obviously still be competitive with D-Book, if not the favorites in the next couple games. They went 8-6 with D-Book in the regular season. So and obviously they're so deep, right? They probably have the deepest roster in the NBA. So
Yeah, for
you'll
sure.
be able to see Crowder and Bridges and Cam Johnson and Landry Shamet pick up some of that slack, some of that scoring output. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, Suns, they didn't play a bad game even without Book at the end. I think what killed them was transition defense. Like the Pels were just killing. I mean, yeah, the Pels were just killing them in transition. They were getting out, throwing outlet passes, getting breakaway dunks, and that's what really helped them. They outscored the Suns 16-9 in transition. A lot of that in the fourth quarter. So I think, I mean, props to Willie Green. I mean, a
For sure, for sure.
rookie coach, first playoff series going against his former team. He used to be an assistant with the Suns. But yeah, I mean, they just played a great game. They withstood everything the Suns threw at them. Suns
And
made
just made
numerous.
made everything.
Yeah,
And
they
but
executed really well.
yeah, I think there's a bigger reason why the Suns lost though.
What's that?
Uh, Scott Foster.
Oh
The
yeah,
fact that Chris Paul's 0-14 in his last 14 playoff games with Scott Foster reffing.
yeah,
Which is crazy. I feel like the NBA may need to do like an investigation on that or something. Um, I
yeah.
don't know. I don't see
Or
any bad reffing, but like I don't
yeah,
know.
I think in large part it was probably CP. I mean, he didn't have a great game to his standards. And
Hmm.
he shot 5 of 16, shot 31% from the field. Um, I'm sure a lot of those games were a little bit questionable refereeing, but a lot of them were also probably just them losing the game. It's crazy though. Apparently, they tied the Detroit. He ties the Detroit Pistons for the longest playoff losing streak in NBA history. The Pistons are 0-14 since 2008. CP is 0-14
Against Scott
uh,
Foster.
since 2004. That's
I mean, not
crazy.
against Scott Foster, but Scott Foster
No,
reffing.
against Scott Foster.
Yeah, actually,
It's
yeah,
basically
yeah,
CP versus Scott Foster.
yeah.
Scott Foster has made himself a part of the games. It's crazy.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a 1-1 series though. I think obviously the Pelicans have all the momentum going home. But it's going to take a lot of resilience to continue this on against a championship team, especially when you're a young team and most of your players haven't made the playoffs. But having CJ's playoff experience and other vets on the team, Jonas Valanciunas, it's
Oh,
going to
for
help them
sure.
out for sure. So they've got a really good chance going forward. Still got to execute though, like they did in this game.
As an 8 seed though, it's crucial. It's huge to go back home tied
Yeah,
1-1. It's
yeah,
huge. When you're down 2-0 against a 1 seed, it's just like I feel like it's demoralizing, right?
yeah, for sure. I
It
mean,
kind of is.
but that's just mainly because they're outmatched because the one seed
Exactly.
is
It's
just dominant.
demoralizing.
Yeah,
But
but
like
I think the
go
Pelicans have seen
being
that
1-1.
they can run with
They
these
they can
guys.
keep up. They kept up in
Yeah,
game 1 too.
yeah,
They played a better second half
exactly,
than the Suns did, I
exactly.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing their best basketball of the year by far right now, which is great to see.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. All right, you want to move on
Let's
to
do it.
our next series, the Raptors at the Philadelphia 76ers. This game was a blowout. The Sixers won 112-97. It was a very, very physical game. It was kind of I watched a little bit of it. It was kind of hard to watch
Yeah.
because like right from the jump, Nick. So like after game one, Nick Nurse, the Raptors coach, was like saying that the Philly was getting away with like tons of hard fouls. So at the start of the game, the Raptors just like came out the gate, going hard at Embiid, shoving him,
Yeah.
throwing shots at him, throwing blows at him. Um, OG Anunoby shoved Embiid. Both Embiid shoved him back. They both got teed up for that. Um, however, Embiid like he usually like lets stuff get into his head, right?
Yeah.
Um, he didn't let any of this get into his head, and he just dropped 31 and 11 rebounds. Um, and then he just started to draw fouls by from the Raptors and just like used the Raptors going at him as like an advantage
Yeah.
to just get to the free throw line, which
Yeah.
is which is smart, but like also a little hard to watch.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, he's just a dominant player. And he's gonna bruise people in the paint. He like was going at people in game 1 too. That's why I think that's why Scotty Barnes went out. I also think he injured Thad Young too on one of the plays. He was just going hard. He's just unleashing right now. Um, he's obviously he's waiting for the playoffs. That's what he's been waiting for the whole season. So I think the Sixers are playing great. Obviously, they're going against a beat up Raptors team, who are obviously missing a couple players. But Sixers are executing well. Their others are playing super well. Maxey and Harris are stepping up.
Yeah,
Maxey at
Maxi's having a
23.
really good series so far.
Yeah, they both
Almost had
are.
a triple double,
Yeah,
23
they both
points,
had
9
over
rebounds, 8
20
assists.
points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Harris had a double, 20 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah. I mean, the Sixers are playing. They're playing great. This is basically what they're supposed to do, taking care of business at home. I don't think we have to
Yeah, for
read too
sure.
much into it. Raptors um, are still obviously going to be competitive. And so, yeah, it'll be obviously Nick Nurse is a championship coach. He'll adjust for it. He obviously knows Embiid really well. He coached against him in 2019 when they won the chip. Um, I think they did a good job handling him then, and I think he'll have some adjustments to make. With obviously he has uh, enough big men to help work on Embiid. So it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts.
Yeah, for sure. Also, another thing to note, Philly shot 30 free throws compared to Toronto's 12. So that shows that they either like Nick Nurse was saying that the refs were like calling too many fouls on Toronto and not calling
Yeah,
enough for on
yeah,
Philly. So and Embiid and Nurse were having a discussion at the end of the game. Nurse was telling Embiid that he was getting all the calls. And Embiid told him to stop crying about all these calls. He used a
yeah,
different word, but
yeah,
I'll say crying. Um,
yeah.
I think Embiid should probably be the last person to say that. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, I think you might be accurate on that, historically accurate, but we'll see. I mean, Embiid's definitely trying to get him back for what happened those years back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, this series isn't over, and Raptors still got a really good shot. But these next 2 games, obviously, back in Toronto, it'll be definitely be a dogfight.
Yeah, definitely. All right, you want to move on?
Yeah, let's look at Hawks Heat. Heat took this 115, 105. And I mean, it was just the Jimmy Butler show. It was Jimmy G
Jimmy.
buckets,
Yes,
getting
sir.
buckets, getting straight
Return of Bubble
buckets.
Jimmy.
Is the return of Bubble Jimmy. He dropped 45 points.
Sheesh.
This is playoff career high. Shot 60% from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, which we never see because he typically doesn't shoot any threes. 11 to 12 from the free throw line. And it was his third 40-point playoff game with the Heat. And he now tied LeBron James for second in Heat history, obviously behind D Wade, who had 8. But I think his mindset in this game was just be aggressive throughout the entire game. And he did that perfectly. He drove to the basket at will. He was able to get to the free throw line by going in aggressively and just getting contact. And obviously his 3-point output was surprising, but it gave him a huge boost for that. And it showed that his game is completely different in the playoffs when he really turns it on.
Yeah, definitely. Tyler Hero also added along 15 points. Struce with 14 and Vincent with 11. So he had all around, and obviously Jimmy Butler had an insane game, 45 points. But other than him, the whole entire team played really well. But it's
Mhm.
interesting. Duncan Robinson only played 7 minutes. Shout out to the long shot again. Um, he only played
Maybe
seven
not,
minutes.
or maybe not, because we may have just like cursed him completely. He just, I
I
don't know
don't know.
what happened to him. He only
I
played
don't know
seven
why.
minutes, didn't
Yeah.
score, didn't attempt a shot. So
Maybe
maybe
he was
we,
like something was up with it. Maybe a slight
maybe
injury.
he
I
was,
don't know.
maybe he was ill or something. Maybe he was sick.
Yeah. Because
Um,
they can't only play him 7 minutes after he does what he did in game one, right?
yeah, yeah. Let's hope we didn't like screw him over.
Yeah.
So hopefully he
Sorry.
bounces back. Hopefully he bounces back. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
still a
I
legend.
mean, for sure. I mean, for the Hawks, they just didn't have an answer for Jimmy. Um, they needed to play better defense. They just need to play better as a whole team. Um, Bogdan was huge, 29 points, 5 for 10 from three. He just needs to keep aggressive. Um, Kind of similar to Andrew Wiggins. If both of them are aggressive, like they can be elite, but like they just need to turn that switch on. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Um, I obviously Trey Young. I think the number one thing is 10 turnovers. Like that's
Yeah, he needs to
inexcusable.
take care of the ball. Yeah,
You
it
got
can't
to
happen
take
in
care of the
playoffs.
ball. Yeah, it can't happen. I mean, on offense, I think he was fine in terms of his scoring. But I think being a little bit more aggressive will be huge for them because they need Trey Young to basically be at his A+ game for them to beat this team. Uh,
Definitely.
and I think John Collins and Gallo as well. They really need to get involved. Um, Gallinari, I think, only had 2 points in this game. Oh, he was 0 for 6 from the field. He just needs to help because Trey Young just needs as many people to run along with him as possible. Um, and I obviously the Hawks, the series is still wide open for them going back
Hmm.
back to Atlanta. And this team made a huge run last year, so they have that playoff experience. But I think the difference between now and then is in the series they won, they won the first game, so they
Yeah,
had that sort of edge to
and
start the
they had the
series.
confidence that they could win.
Exactly. They put the pressure on the other team. They were playing
Exactly.
freely. But I think now being down 2-0, we need to see how they respond and if they're able to turn that switch and get back to how they played last year.
Yeah. Do you know what's the status with Clint?
I mean, obviously we knew that at the time he got his MRI that it would be another week until he got reevaluated.
Okay.
So I think we'll probably hear on the weekend or something or the beginning of
Yeah.
next week.
It's
Uh,
definitely tough without him. Really tough.
yeah, but I mean, we don't even know if they'll be able to make it to till then if they'll
They
still be
just
in
need
the
to find a
playoffs.
way to they just need to find a way to adjust without him.
Yeah,
They have no other choice, right?
exactly. I mean, but like not having a big man down low, like they have no presence in the paint. Like
Mhm.
Okongwu, like is not sufficient to man the middle. Obviously,
Yeah,
he doesn't like. It's not that he's outsized by Bam, but like he just doesn't have the same presence that Bam has. Um,
yeah, and
he's
he's super
not that
young. He's still
he's not the same rim protector that Bam is.
hmm
So it's obviously a bit tougher for them.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
Um, I mean, going back to Atlanta, it's still they can still do it. It's still wide
they
open.
got,
It's only 2-0. They're going back home. Um, yeah, Trey Young just needs to have he just needs to be at the top of his game in order for the Hawks to have a chance, right?
exactly. I mean, we can't count them out, but at the same time, like Heat are playing really great basketball. Jimmy Butler is leading them as he should. This is exactly what they need in order to be a threat in the East for sure.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's looking great for them.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah, so we got the 7-2 in the West. The Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies took this game 124-96. Kind of a blowout. Um, Timberwolves just didn't play nearly as well as they did in game one. I feel like um I think you probably agree with me, but I feel like because they were able to steal one in Memphis in game one. They were probably like too complacent
Yeah.
that since they already won a road game against the 2 seed, they're fine going back home to Minnesota with the series tied 1-1. Like obviously it's not the best scenario, but like they're fine with it. So
Yeah, I mean, you could tell like it's a young playoff team, right? They probably felt like we already pretty much did our job, so to say, right? We got our we stole our one game, but you really wanted to put that pressure on the Grizzlies, especially being a lower seed, and kind of see what the Grizzlies will do under pressure as the higher seed. But yeah, they came out flat. I thought they didn't play with that sort of edge or intensity that they had in the playing game or that they had in game one.
yeah.
And I think that has to do with not having your star player as a vet or an experienced playoff
Mhm.
player to like
Yeah,
sort of
for sure.
encourage your players. You have, I mean, I don't think Cat or Ant are going to be able to like inject that sort of leadership that someone who's more
Yeah.
experienced would like know that how important the second game is and that you can't
Yeah.
really just fold to the
And
Grizzlies and that you want to keep the pressure
yeah,
up.
I feel like that should be Pat Bev's job. Like
Yeah,
I was saying in episode 1, like how he brings so much energy to the whole team. He should have done that in game 2. It wasn't there.
yeah,
He needs to do better in that part in order for the Timberwolves to have like in order for the Timberwolves to have had like all their energy and like aggressiveness in this game. They
yeah.
just like their shot selection was poor in mainly within the whole game, but mainly the second quarter. They shot like 29% from three, shot 39.5% from the field, 20 turnovers, so very lazy with the ball,
Hmm.
not caring of the ball. They also Edwards had 20 points, and 6 rebounds, but they just didn't get as much scoring besides Anthony Edwards. So Cat was obviously not as impactful as he was in game one. Still had 15 rebounds, but I mean 11 rebounds, but just wasn't as much of a presence.
Yeah.
He had only like 15 points. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously going 1-1 back to Minnesota. It's anyone's series right now. Anyone's series right now.
yeah.
But I think I mean, the winner of the series is going to be who wants it more because both
Hmm.
these teams have energy. Both these teams are young. They both have talent. But it's just that small edge that's going to give the team that wants it more the victory.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see in game three when it's a tied series, and this game three is going to be huge. So whoever comes
Yeah.
out guns blazing is going to definitely have a good shot to win the series. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
pivotal game.
Yeah. I mean, for Memphis for this game, they came out hot. They knew they needed to win this game. They can't go back. They can't lose home court advantage like completely as the 2 seed.
Right,
They can't go down 2-0 and go back to Minnesota.
right,
Um yeah, Morant obviously he had himself a game. He had 23 points, almost a triple double, flirted with the triple double, 9
right.
rebounds, 10 assists, plus 24 plus minus, which he just wanted this game. They all wanted this game. Um they had 60 points in the paint compared to Minnesota's 34. 14 offensive rebounds compared to Minnesota's 4, 9 steals. So they were like super aggressive, took advantage of Minnesota's carelessness with the ball. Were just more of a presence in the paint. Um, Jaron Jackson was also huge for Memphis. 4 for 7 from three, 16 points. Um, yeah, locked up cat. Him and Steven Adams.
Mhm. Yeah, no, this is basically how the Grizz have been playing all year. So when they're playing like this, they're obviously tough to beat. That's why they're so dominant in the regular season. So,
Yeah,
but game three is definitely going to be interesting. Let's move on to the
for
next
sure.
series.
Let's move on.
Let's move on to the Jazz Mavs game. Mavs took this game 110-104. Mavs overcame a 10-point deficit at halftime. They trailed for most of the game, but it was a huge game for them to win. Now they go back. Now they tie the series one apiece, going to Utah. And to do it without Luka is huge because they would have been in danger of dropping home court and going down 2-0. Going to Utah, they would have been huge underdogs. So a big game for them. Jalen Brunson went
Yeah, he had
bonkers.
himself a crazy game.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
41 points.
41 points, career high. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had himself a game. 6 for 10 from three, 15 to 25 from the field. Maxi Kleba also had himself a really good game, really solid
Yeah.
game. 25 points, nearly perfect from three, 8 of 11, which is an insane stat line for someone for someone like him. He just had a really really good game, crucial for Dallas. Um, yeah, they don't have to rush Luka's return as the series is tied 1-1, and they're not like fully in panic mode,
Yeah.
um, as they would be if they were down 2-0, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
the main takeaway from this game, though, for me is the Mavs just completely exposed the Jazz defense. And
Mhm.
it's just so similar to what we saw last year with the Clippers. Jason
Oh
Kidd
yeah,
and the Mavs just they played 5 out at the end of the game. And with Rudy Gobert defending, the Mavs were just able to blow by the Jazz's perimeter defense, which is so lackluster. Like Mitchell, Conley, and Bogdanovic, just like they're just so easy to beat, and they lack that sort of the perimeter defense that you need. And it allowed Dinwiddie and Brunson to just blow by their defenders to the rim. And then since Gobert's job is to pretty much protect the paint area, since the Mavs were playing 5 out, Gobert's man then, who was Kleba, was able to just get wide open threes because Gobert was committing to the paint. And so that just gave the Jazz they ended up conceding 17 uncontested threes,
that's crazy.
which is the most in the last 10 postseasons, which is unreal.
Yeah, I feel like that's the most like Jazz thing you'll ever hear. Like they just do
Exactly.
like some like dumb thing.
Yeah, I mean they just get exposed, right?
Yeah, they get
And
exposed all the time.
and
Yeah,
obviously Maxey, he made 8 threes, but 7 of them were uncontested. So that just shows that Gobert having
Maxi
to man the
Kleba.
middle. Yeah, Maxey
Yeah,
Kleba.
not
Go
Tyrese Maxey.
no, Maxey Kleba.
I'm just
But the
messing.
fact, yeah, the fact that Gobert was having to commit to the rim because the perimeter defense for the Jazz was just so bad that they would just collapse and the Dallas players would just get straight to the rim. It just shows like how easy the Jazz are to expose in the playoffs. And I think Quinn Snyder, like he needed to adjust and match the small ball down the stretch. That's what basically lost in the game, leaving Gobert on the court. So in game 3, they definitely need to adjust that when they see that Jason Kidd's going 5 out. You can't have Gobert on the floor at that moment. You're giving up wide open shots on the perimeter and defense to make up for that. So, but I think otherwise it's just gonna end like it did with the Clippers
Like
last year.
Yeah, you can't have Gobert on the floor, especially if he's missing 2 dunks.
Yeah.
Probably makes sense why they don't pass him when he only took 1 shot last game, right?
Exactly. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's why Donovan Mitchell is just not passing to anybody.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't. He shot 30 shots, scored
Jeez.
34. Like he's shooting. Like he doesn't trust anybody on his team. You see when he passes it to Gobert,
I feel like
he should trust. He
should trust Boyan. Boyan
obviously
is solid.
But Boyan's like he's gonna get his buckets. He doesn't really need it. Like he's more of a he's a shot creator, right?
Yeah.
So obviously he is passing the ball, but like he's not passing it like as if he trusted everyone to make a shot more than himself.
Exactly, for sure. Yeah.
So I mean, Jazz like.
I feel like he should get more guys involved. Like Royce O'Neal came in so clutch in game 1 with that with that dagger 3. They just need to have trust in all their players. If they have no trust, they can't win. If Mitchell has no trust in their teammates, like how are they gonna win, right?
Exactly.
They need to develop that.
This Jazz loss is like it's horrible. Like it's terrible.
It's really bad.
It's a horrible loss. Like if you win this game, you're winning this game first of all from basically 3.5 quarters, and you just let it slip away just because you weren't able to adjust to the Mavs offense. And I mean you basically without Luka, there's no reason to drop a game. And going up 2-0 back to Utah, like that's basically like a guaranteed win. Even with Luka, not guaranteed win, but you basically have a hold on the series, and you're basically the favorites by a lot. But it's such a bad loss. It's such a bad loss. It looks horrible. It's what we've seen from the Jazz for the last couple postseasons, and it just shows that nothing's really changed for them.
Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely.
hopefully, I mean,
Hopefully they can turn it around
exactly.
once they get back to Utah. Hopefully they can
It's
take
not the end of
advantage
the
of the home
world.
court.
It's not the end of the world for them, but at the same time, it's not a good look.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Not a good look at all without the Mavs having Luka.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, should we move on?
So
Yeah, so we got our final matchup. This was a great game. For Golden State, the Nuggets versus the Warriors. The Warriors won in a blowout again, 126 to 106. Yeah, as for the Warriors, probably like the greatest basketball performance I've ever seen. Um, yeah, nothing else much. No, there's a lot to say about the Warriors. I mean, Steph Curry, greatest six man of all time. You know, he probably should win six man of the year after this. They should probably consider that. You know, um, 34 points in just 23 minutes, 12 of 17 from the field, plus 32 plus or minus. Um, Steph, no player in the shot clock era. Did you know this, Rohan? No player in the shot clock era scored as many as 30 points in 23 or fewer minutes in a playoff game.
no, I
And
didn't know that.
Steph is now the first.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
just Steph doing Steph things.
Steph doing Steph, yeah, obviously, yeah, for sure. He's always going to be like that. We had another pool
Greatest
party.
six man of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Another pool party. It's probably like a daily occurrence now.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
A lot of
fingers
pool
crossed.
parties. It's not
Yeah,
summer yet though.
yeah, almost summer.
Hopefully it will be summer, but we're still having pool parties.
Yeah, NBA Finals, here we come. Um, Jordan Poole, 10 of 16 from the field, 29 points, some crazy behind the back passes, 8 assists. Klay Thompson, 21 points. Andrew Wiggins he made those two threes at the start of the game were also huge. They got everything going.
Yeah.
And that first bucket of the game too, that layup. Yeah, he had a plus 24 plus minus. So really good, probably the best basketball game I've ever seen. Like I said, amazing game from the Warriors. I have a
Yeah.
few questions for you, Rohan. Um, so what do you think about Jordan Poole, who's like statistically the best free throw shooter in the league, differing the technical free throws to Curry, and Curry missing them? So do you think Poole should like keep deferring them, or should he take them?
I don't really think I don't think he has a choice. Steph is taking them whether he likes it or not. That's what you get for being the best shooter of all time. I think Poole knows
Valid.
that.
That's valid.
I don't think it matters if Curry misses them or not. He's gonna take them regardless. I don't think he's ever gonna miss two in a game ever again.
Yeah.
That
Oh yeah,
was an
for sure.
anomaly, but yeah, Poole doesn't have that. He's still below Curry when it comes to that. Curry's still the man of the team. But
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, they were separated by what, like 0.2% in the
Yeah.
regular season, something.
Like 0.2%. Yeah. Yeah.
So they're giving it to Curry 100 out of 100 times, and Curry knows
Yeah.
that, and Poole knows that.
Yeah. But as Poole would say, no comment.
No comment. He can't say anything.
As for Denver, Jokic needs help. He needs Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray back ASAP. Otherwise,
Facts.
if Jokic isn't creating or scoring, they have nothing, and they're gonna lose.
Facts.
Jokic had 26. He did his job. I mean, he had 26 points and 11 rebounds before getting ejected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if Jokic gets ejected, they lose. So, yeah.
Yep. That's
Uh,
facts. I mean, I just think for Jokic, like, you can't help but feel bad for him. Kind of like, he has to do everything. He has to score. He has to create for them. And he doesn't really have any help, which is kind of what is leading to his frustration. But also, like, having Draymond like just poke at you for like 30 minutes a game and getting taunted by everyone on the Warriors, and like they're dancing and shimmying around, like
yeah,
scoring. They're just
it's
shooting fadeaway threes. Like,
it's
what is he
definitely
supposed to do?
frustrating. Yeah,
He could drop a 40-point triple double, and it'll be the same outcome most likely.
yeah,
Um,
it's
it's
definitely frustrating.
uh,
As we saw, like Boogie and Barton were drawing at each other on the bench, which is like not a good look for them. Gives the Warriors even more confidence. Denver's all like discombobulated and stuff.
but I think it's also it could be a good thing for Denver. They're releasing their
Yeah.
frustration, and
Oh
obviously
yeah,
this could fuel
that's
them
true.
for sure. Like, everyone's counting them out. They've had two poor games, and now they're going back to Denver. This is their time to pretty much uh, stamp themselves into the series.
Yeah,
So
show that they're like a legit team and they can compete.
exactly.
Yeah. So we'll
So
see. It's gonna be an interesting game 3 on Thursday.
yeah, definitely some good games over the next couple days. Game 3 is obviously super pivotal. If you're up 2-0, down 2-0, or if it's just tied, the winner of game 3 definitely has a good momentum going forward
Yeah,
towards the
for
end of the
sure,
series.
for
So
sure.
we're getting into a crucial part of the first round for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's exciting, man. I'm super excited
Yeah.
to see all this pan out.
We've had some good basketball so far, but we definitely have really good
We're in
basketball
store for
going
more.
forward.
We're in store.
We are.
We're in store for a lot of more good basketball.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. We'll wrap this up. We'll catch you guys
Catch you guys
at the end of
at the
game
end of the game
3.
threes.
We'll
Yeah,
recap
yeah,
those. Should have some interesting stuff for you guys. Hopefully there's some good basketball to be played. Some pretty crazy games as well. So
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
take it
tune in
easy.
for episode 4. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you.
See you guys. Peace.